All right, guys, welcome to the Team Phoenix Diamond Call. Today is Thursday, February 18th. I'm recording, so I do want to try to keep these for future reference, so I'm going to just kind of say the date. And I'm Megan Eccleston, the founder of Team Phoenix, and we are today, I have a couple topics I want to talk about today. But moving forward, I want to possibly create like a document or something in the file section of the Phoenix Leaders page to grab any topics you guys want to talk about, because I do want to really align this discussion with the current and relevant needs of our team. Because, you know, our team has a certain culture and certain strengths and certain things that we do well. And there are probably areas that we aren't as strong in because it's not what I train. It's not what the current leaders, how they run their businesses. But I do recognize that there's so many different great ways people do use this opportunity. And they have different skill sets that they bring to the table that I would love to just keep people informed, because even though I have never trained you to use a blog necessarily, there are people who do that well. I'm just using that as an example. Or like Instagram is huge for coaching. So I would like for you guys to guide the direction of these calls. So keep that in mind, that I really am inviting you guys to bring up topics that you feel like we should discuss, that you think would help you grow as a leader, what you think your team needs. And, you know, our leaders will do our best to dig into that topic. So, but I do have a little bit of an agenda, not anything that we have to hold too tightly. So if you guys have some things to discuss, please feel free. Don't feel free, like, please bring those up, because that's what this is intended to be. So let's open that up first. I'd rather do that first. I'd rather, if anybody has anything specific that they think they want to bring up now, let's do that. And then I'm sure the conversation will open up more questions. But before we get there, does anybody have anything that they think, you know what, I really would like to talk about this in this forum with these leaders, with, you know, somebody at the diamond level? Anyone? You guys act like you're shy or something. Well, okay. Okay, well then I'll get into the topic that I wanted to talk about. Well, I guess we should first mention, I'll just reiterate that I am planning to do a little 5-day leadership bootcamp using the Challenge Tracker app. Somebody said they couldn't download it. Let me ask, has anybody had success in downloading the app? You have? Okay. I'll see. I think Stephanie was saying she's having this trouble downloading the app. If you do need it, I do think it sounds like you need an invite code, and I think that's what is delivered to you when I enroll you into the challenge. So we need an email address to enroll into a challenge. That's how we will put our challengers in, because they'll make a challenge pack purchase or whatever, and we have access to that contact. So if we're using it for free groups, we will absolutely need email addresses. So that will be, you know, a different thing for us, because we don't currently, for free groups and stuff, you know, they can enter as long as they are on Facebook and they're a friend, right? So that's kind of the direction I want to talk about, is email, and how it's a shift that I would like for our team to start making, grabbing email addresses. This is something that I know has been strongly encouraged for a while by certain leaders, and I know Chalene Johnson says, email address is so important to have, because let's be real, we can't rely on Facebook forever. I know this is not something that I would open up in a conversation with a new coach or coaches below the diamond level. I would never want to, because people are already freaked out about, you know, coaching. If we're saying, well, you know, what happens if Facebook is gone tomorrow? That would freak them out, because hello, we built our entire business. I know I have on Facebook. but it has occurred that people have lost access to groups or whatever. Facebook is its own business. And I think I use this terminology in that post is we have to be cautious about building our business in someone else's backyard. That's why I think this Challenge Tracker app, as frustrating as it's going to be to change our systems and to move in that direction, and as much as I would love to continue to keep my head under the sand and just keep doing Facebook groups, because that's where I'm comfortable and I've gotten it down to a science, and all my trainings kind of, use that. The bottom line, the reality really is the app functions the same as a group. It's just, there's going to be a little bit of a shift. As much as I don't want to, I know that it's essential that I embrace it right away. Because I don't want to be reactive. I don't want to be the coach who is learning from other coaches. I don't want to be the leader who is just being reactive. And essentially we need to be smart about our business anyway. And if Beachbody is providing this tool, we know that we can be ahead of the game, because what happens if, like I said, Facebook was gone, we know we'd have that tool to reach people. And email addresses. That is something that I want to start helping train my leaders in. I don't have everybody's email address. I'm not saying I do. I'm just starting to lean in that direction. I am grabbing email addresses when I can from even my free challenges. The Google Forms are hugely successful with grabbing email addresses for your free challenges, because even if the person doesn't complete the challenge, you now have their email address and you now can continue to communicate with them. Even if you aren't doing anything with it yet, like I have a bunch of email addresses from previous 5 days that maybe never even participated, or they participated once, and they may not be on Facebook anymore. I don't know, but now I have their email address. So if I do start using email to reach people, I'll have those contacts. You know what I mean? And it's more valuable than a Facebook or a Facebook contact than a friend. So some ways to do this is, if someone asks you for information specifically on a challenge or on something you're doing, you can say something like that, like, I'd love to share more with you. How about I send you an email, all the details. What's your email address? And that's a pretty easy ask. People, because and think about it, when you drop a whole bunch of details about something in a Facebook message, isn't it kind of like, I don't know, it's a little overwhelming. It's a lot to read in that little window. It kind of seems jumbled, but it reads easier in email. So I don't think that would sound strange to somebody to ask them for their email address, because it is easier to consume in an email format. Plus they can save it and refer back to it. Whereas Facebook Messenger, we know how sloppy it gets. I know I miss messages all the time in there. I lose them because, I'll get a couple dozen messages in a day, and I might actually read one thinking, oh, I'll get back to it. But then it gets to the bottom of the list and it's grayed out, so I don't see it anymore. But with Facebook, it's much easier to catalog. Even me, somebody who's terribly disorganized, it still feel like it's more manageable. So I would like to encourage you to start moving in that direction, not like it's something that you have to overhaul now, but I just want you to think that way. I want you to start thinking about it. I'd rather be a team that is more of an industry leader than an industry follower. And because things happen, change happens in Beachbody by the way that the coaches are operating. Challenge groups were not something Beachbody orchestrated. Coaches started doing it, and they changed they started catering to us. Lots of things that the coaches started doing that, kind of directed how Beachbody trains us and provides. So I don't want to be one of those teams who is just waiting for someone else to figure it out, waiting for someone else. How are we going to handle this? How are we going to handle, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be ahead of the game. I want us to start thinking proactively and smartly so that so we can support our teams when our teams are like, shoot, now that there's this Challenge Tracker app, what do I do? Well, you're going to be prepared. You're going to be, well, you know what? There's tools, there's resources, and I can help you. And I can show you, how this works. So that's why I thought this is a great way. Plus, it's a great opportunity for me to challenge you guys in leadership. So I've come up with some nice little assignments. They're kind of some of them were inspired by Christine Dwyer's Diamond Forces boot camp that I went through, however long ago it was, but it's definitely different than the business boot camp. It's directed at being a leader. So I'm excited to do that, and it's going to challenge me too. So that's what we're going to do using the Challenge Tracker app. Expect an invite soon by this weekend for sure. Look at my notes. The other thing about bringing people to email is a lot of people are working. A lot of people are at work and they can't really access Facebook. I know I have several people who say, oh, I don't check my message. I don't check Facebook until I'm home because I'm at work or whatever. So knowing that people are always up in their email. And Facebook is so distracting. We know it. So if you're trying to get someone's attention amongst all the noise in Facebook land, they're fighting. You're fighting for it, and it's easy to kind of get distracted by every other feed that's going on. So in their email, that it's cataloged there. So that's the other reason I feel like. And for training, think about it in these terms. With our challenges, they might be in other groups. They might be, especially if they're like one of your new coaches and they're a discount coach or whatever. There's so many things vying for their attention in groups. So that's Challenge Tracker. It's off of Facebook, and you do get a notification on the app, and it will actually, you can set it up to send you reminders like, hey, remember you haven't checked in with your workout and your Shakeology today. So how cool is that? They'll get an automatic reminder that, how your phone gets notifications, check in with your workout and Shakeology. So that's helping us do our job. Okay, that's it on the Challenge Tracker app. Does anybody have questions about that right now? The Challenge Tracker app? Okay. Oh, Lauren, go ahead. You can unmute yourself.
I guess I was just wondering, for people who have another coach, right? Like say we have someone and they've already bought something through Beachbody, but they don't work with their coach and they want to switch to us and we're using the app. How will that work if their email is already logged in the system with another coach, I guess?
Yeah, they can log in. They can be invited to a group. Because I've played around with it with other coaches and I can get them in. But I actually read, if you go to the FAQs, I think this question was addressed, and I think the question was addressed in the FAQs. I'm trying to recall what it said and I can't remember, but I do know that you're not at risk if someone's already your customer. Like say I have a customer that's worked with me, they're a free player or whatever, and some other coach invites them to a group, like a free group, it doesn't make them switch to be able to go into her group, which I guess can be good and bad. So I can't be certain, but the FAQs are available. So perhaps that's an assignment for you guys like this weekend, is to start to read the FAQs. And there's videos. There's a video tutorial available. If you don't find it, let me know. I don't think they just sent it to me. I think it's available to everybody. But they do have a video tutorial of how the app works. They do have a video tutorial of the coach portal. So you have the app, right? You have the user experience in the app. As a coach, you have a coach portal, meaning you can, and this is on the web, you can go to the web or your phone and input the information. There is a scheduler. It's Hootsuite right now. I'm hoping that they will open the scheduling to other third-party tools because I got rid of Hootsuite. But that's what it is right now, and that's fine. So I would say definitely do your best to like read up on the FAQs and get knowledgeable about, whatever resource is out there. Just as the diamond level leader in your team's organization, I mentioned this in that post, sure, Team Phoenix page and your upline are here to help you support your team. But, if you can be the go-to and not just have it all, dumped on the leadership above you, it's going to serve your team best. So I would say just, I mean, and honestly, like, I'm not sure I'm going to know any better than you. So just, check it out. I know that there's some information available on that topic.
Yeah, I was just wondering about how it would work if they already were with another coach, or if we're doing like a combined challenge group, like if we're mentoring a coach, how we would invite them if there would be issues with their anything. Okay.
I'm pretty sure, because I've tested it. I've tested adding somebody to my group. It's like not my coach. Like it's another coach though, so I don't know if it matters. But I don't know if it matters, but they're not a customer. So, but that question is brought up and that is addressed. I just can't recall the complete answer to
it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, what else? Something that you guys might consider while I'm on the topic of email, and I don't want to get, I think some of you maybe have heard of Streak as something that I've been using. It's a Google tool. It's not actually, Google doesn't own it, but it's like an email or a contact organization system that you use through Gmail. You kind of like download the app, not app, it's not like an app, maybe, I don't know, the application on through your Gmail. It has been an extension. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. Thank you. An extension that has been super helpful for me. I need a very clear system to stay on track with things, and Streak has been extraordinarily helpful for me. So look it up, Google it. If you want to get some great training on it, Brooke Lipoff, Lipoff. Go to YouTube and look up Brooke Lipoff's YouTube videos. She's extremely detail oriented, and she shows you exactly how she uses it to manage her new coaches. She actually does her new coach training through it, meaning it's a way of seeing where your contacts are in a process. So I could have a lead from, say someone asks me about coaching. Anybody ever asked me as a coach prospect, I put them into the phases of they're a lead, I've sent them information, they watched the video, they enrolled or whatever. And you can kind of see where they're at in that phase. So for her new coaches, she has them in new coach, sent welcome email, have they complete welcome email, here's video 1, here's video 2, video 3. So as they respond back to her, she can move them through the phases and know every day where each of these people are at in that system. See, that's where I could use some help, is have how many new coaches, where are they all at in the process? And she can look at that day to day rather than like just trying to think in her head. I use it now for my 21. I'm not comfortable like training you guys in it yet because I've only been doing it short term, and I don't feel good. I don't feel confident in my articulation of how I'm using it. That's why I say go to Brooks, because she does it very well and she's been doing it for a long time. And she's probably using it more effective than I am at this point. So, but like I have my challengers. So I'm now communicating with my challengers via email. We have the challenge group environment interactively, but my check-ins are not in Facebook anymore. My personal check-ins, because I check in with them individually, personally. And I used to do that every week via a Facebook message, same day, just to keep it organized. But now I'm doing it through email. And I like that because that becomes the way that they know to hear from me. So if long-term I'm trying to stay in touch with them, perhaps to move them into a challenge pack, or if they drop off as far as Shakeology, I don't know, I still feel like that is a potential customer still to get on Shakeology for coaching, but otherwise they get lost in the system. They get lost in my Facebook contacts. So I'm just trying to move them to the world. Plus I can say, okay, we've gone through week 1. Okay, I've already the week 1 check-in. Okay, I've gone through the week 2 check-in. Okay, this is my check-in for Shakeology, because I like to do that little like, how's Shakeology going for you? Are you interested in the discount? So I know that I've touched base with everybody at specific intervals. I'm able to keep track of it better than I was prior. I mean, I was doing it at intervals, but now I can see where I'm at in that system at any given time, and I can copy that phase, because they call them, I forget what you call pipelines. They call them pipelines. So I can copy that pipeline to my next 21-day group. So I don't have to like recreate the wheel. And the best part for me is I can create templates of check-ins. So, okay, you know how you might send the same kind of scripted check-in to everybody? How's, whatever you do. But now they have what's called what do they call it? There's a little something at the bottom of your email, of the Gmail screen, that says, what do they call it? Snippets. You can create a snippet, which is basically a template. So some of the verbiage that you say all the time when people ask you a certain question, or just a general thing you say all the time, you can create snippets, and I'm not typing the same thing out over and over again. And so, for example, if I am doing my 5-day check-in on Tuesday, wanting to see how people are feeling, if they have any questions, how to look at the menus, I can mass email everybody in my 5-day, the same time, the same message once, rather than doing 50 copy paste. One time, I check the box with my snippet that I've already created, because I've done how many 5 days, and it mass messages them, and it puts their, it puts their name. Like, you can make it personal, because you can choose a little option to grab their first name. It says, "Hey Lauren, how's the week going for you? Are you enjoying the menus? How are you feeling? Please feel free to reach out to me if there's anything that I can do to support you further. Keep up the great work. I can't wait to see your results on Saturday," or whatever. And that goes out. It takes me 2 minutes to send that to 5 people, 30 people, 100 people, however many. So that's why email can be really effective and save time. So I just want you to consider Streak. I've known about it for months and months, and I'm not saying don't let this feel like something else you got to do, because that's how I felt at first. I was like, oh, I need to do Streak now. I'm wasting so much time. But it took me a few months to sit down and figure it out, and that's okay if it does for you too. I just want to put it on your radar, sooner rather than later. So if that is something you might have time to figure out in the next month, great. If not, don't kick yourself. This goes for everything you hear and learn about. Like, you could kill yourself trying to implement everything that comes your way. You can't beat yourself up about it. Just, cool, great idea. Maybe that'll be useful for me someday, but I'll just log it back here until the time comes. So that's all this is, hey, think about this. This could be helpful. Okay. Last thing I want to mention, this is kind of unrelated, so we're shifting gears. A realization that I think is helpful for me, perhaps it helps you, and I hope this invites conversation. So I have a mastermind call with the Southeast region leaders who are 6-star to 15-star. On Mondays, there's a certain small group of us that get on the line with Craig Collier and address leadership topics. And he spoke very much about strengths and weaknesses, kind of like when he spoke on our call with us. I don't think I spoke about this with you guys yet, but so he had asked us all to go around and share what our strengths were and what our areas of opportunity were. Because we talk about don't focus on your weaknesses. We spend too much time trying to grow our weaknesses, trying to improve our weaknesses, and not enough time really embracing and maximizing our strengths. However, we need to have a certain level of competency in our weak areas. So we're all going around and sharing ours. The idea is so that we know who is what, and if we can reach out to somebody, or that might have an area that could help us, and vice versa, we can just be collaborative. And I shared, I feel really good about, let me tell you what other people said first. So I was hearing these people saying things like, I have a great system. I have a great onboarding system. My coaches are getting started off right. We have these, very organized system, have a great Emerald, coach to Emerald and an Emerald to Diamond training. And these systems I'm hearing like, well, where are they? Because I need them. Because hand me those. I need those. I don't feel like that's something that I'm strong at. So like I'm hearing these like detail-oriented systems where they have these things in place. But then I'm hearing from these same people, which is so funny to me. But I don't have empowered leaders. I don't have leaders who take their business like and have ownership of their business. Like I have all these diamonds. I can, just like, if I was if I lifetime diamonds counted for our rank advancement, I'd be a, whatever. I'd be a superstar diamond, like 10 years ago, whatever. They're just saying like all these lifetime diamonds that just drop. And I'm just thinking our team isn't characterized by that. Like we tend to grow strong leaders. I mean, when you're a newer diamond, it's not uncommon to go in and out of rank a little bit, but generally the leaders in our business, our team, they grow past it. So my point was, I feel we have very strong leaders. I just assumed this was the normal, but evidently it's not. Evidently it is very uncommon to hold diamond, and all these other people were saying they can get to diamond, they just can't hold it, and they're not taking ownership of their business, and I don't know what to do. And then they talked about their team culture not being quite, they don't have that feeling. And so it was helpful for me because, of course, in my head, I'm seeing all my weaknesses, not being a very organized person, not being very systemized. We do have systems, but I feel like they could use a lot of help, or I feel like I'm constantly in search of the best new coach onboarding system, best training system for my coaches. And so I'm feeling all of these like things as, weaknesses. And but when my turn came around, I was like, yeah, I'm really not feeling I'm always changing my new coach system. I'm not quite sure what works. However, I have really strong leaders. Like my leaders, they're leaders. Like they're good, and so but I was surprised to hear like that was not typical. And I said, and my team culture is really strong, and really, it's a very empowered community. So going around and hearing all these people say these things, what I think it kind of came down to was the people who had the most detail-oriented, perfect systems had leaders who needed their hand held. And it took me off the hook as far as thinking I need the best system. I need the best new coach training. I need the best coach basics. I need the best videos. I need to be better at whatever. What I think the reality is, the content is there, the training is there, even if it's not in my head organized in a way that I think is the best. The people who are going to do this are going to do this. The people who are going to latch on are going to latch on. The people who are going to need their hands held, they're going to fizzle out before they even get to diamond in Team Phoenix. But if I am on the other side, like some of these leaders, getting them there, holding their hands there, and then it's like then at diamond, they don't know what to do with themselves, then I would be beating my head up against the wall if they just never figured out like they had to take ownership. So I'm sharing all of this to kind of help you see where your strengths and weaknesses are. And it helped me to see my so-called weakness as not weakness, and to really identify that was an area of strength, and that my leaders are empowered. They know that they have support here. They know that they have resources here, but they know that at the end of the day, this is their business and it's up to them to get their success. And I think I've communicated that in a way that they don't feel unsupported by me at all. They just, so I hope that helps you, and I hope that lets you off the hook in thinking you need to have perfect systems, and it's up to you to help your coaches be successful. Because I know you take it on you when your first few coaches cancel, or you take it on you when your Emerald decides to like stop at Emerald and not keep adding coaches. You think it's like up to you to do that for them, that something's wrong with your leadership when those who you see have incredible potential don't use it. Because I was doing that for a couple of years, thinking, what am I doing wrong that I can't help them see past Emerald? What am I doing wrong that I can't help them, get to Success Club? It must be my new coach system. It must be that I'm not organized enough, that they're not getting there. So I think that was really helpful for me, and I hope that like helps you, takes you off the hook. That doesn't mean I can't improve, and I'm going to, and I'm certainly going to continue to improve my systems, that I need to do that. But instead of kicking myself and thinking I did all my time doing that, the reality is this is almost a better use of my time than like putting hours into my new coach system. Really, does that make sense? It's better use of my time for those people who are owning their business, showing up for a call, The people who aren't showing up for their training, there's a training in place. Maybe it's not the best training, but it's in place and it exists. And we got this far with it, right? Like, it's been pretty good. So I can't, and you can't feel like, well, there must be something wrong with me. So I hope that helps you. And does anybody have any thoughts on that? Any aha moments? Does that help you deal with a certain struggle or challenge that you might have?
On our last call, your or webinar, I can't remember, but you had mentioned that 10% of your coaches are working coaches. So that was kind of my aha moment, and then the organizational thing, I do have to have some type of organization, but that I can't have it completely perfect. So just those two things in the last couple of days have really helped.
Good, thanks. I don't want to let myself off the hook and thinking that I don't have a ton of room for improvement in those areas. But I think we just don't give ourselves enough credit sometimes for the things that we do well. I was talking to a couple coaches who are doing really well as newer coaches, and it's so funny how they see other coaches doing whatever they're doing, and all they can see is what they're not doing well. Meanwhile, I'm like, don't you realize out of, say, the 10 coaches I might have signed up within a certain interval, like, you are like in the upper 10 to 20%. You just don't see everyone else who's not performing. You just see who is performing at a certain level. Meanwhile, the rest of them, they just dropped off the map, So all we see is other people's success. We don't see everybody else who didn't make it to where we're at. And it's easy to do because it's all out there on social media and in our team page and in our recognition. So perhaps that's that I realized, maybe I need to make that very clear. You're doing a great job. Do you realize that you just did something that only 10% of my team does at this at this interval? We're just so hard on ourselves. We're just so perfectionistic. We're just high standards. So I think it's just helpful to remember that.
I also turned off some notifications in some of the groups so I don't get distracted, because I'm really not a competitive person, but I was feeling like I wasn't doing my best. So I just turned off notifications. It's just distracting, and it's helped.
We can move off that topic if you don't have any feedback there, but we have a few minutes to chat. Is there anything that anybody could use any specific help with? Okay, how about this? Who wants to share something that they are doing right now as a leader that's working for them and their team? Yeah, go ahead.
You talking to me?
Yes,
I can't tell. I can't see everybody. Can you hear me?
yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, cool. Well, I don't know if it's going to work, but tomorrow night I'm having my first team kind of meeting / social event. I got a motivational speaker, and one of the girls on Team Phoenix, actually not on my team, but she's making me my little logos and my tagline on water bottles and actually wine glasses. So I have little prizes for them, and we're going to just get to know each other, the local people in Rochester. So I thought, being part of a team, and I actually invited a couple prospects as well.
That's awesome, Sheila. Where are you doing it?
At Eastside in Fairport.
That's so fun. I love that.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I guess I'll share something. But I guess so I feel like I've been doing a pretty bad job with leadership and coaching, but I guess my team doesn't feel that way. Just because I haven't been able to be as involved and on top of things with a small child. I feel like I like to be very on top of things, and so, but they seem to think I'm handling it well, so that's good. But I did reach out to all of I've realized I have more leaders on my team than I've realized before, and so I actually reached out to all of them this week and kind of just told them that, I mean, I'm still planning on doing everything 100%, but I have a newborn-ish. She's almost a month, and my husband is about to deploy in about a month. So I basically just talked to them all and recognized that I feel that they're all leaders in the smaller group, and just let them know that I am going to be a little bit less involved than I normally am, but that if they have resources, because I've seen them starting to step up, that I want them to take a more active role on our team page. So I think we have a few of them that have like never run a challenge group on their own that are like offering to run them and just have me throw in a couple challengers and things like that. So I've seen some really great leadership stepping up. So I think me stepping back has actually kind of helped grow some new leaders on the team and see some more initiative. So that's been, it's been good. It's been a good thing. So
that's awesome. I remember when the move happened, I was beating myself that I wasn't more available. I felt bad, but I feel like the leadership like just blossomed incredibly in my absence. It wasn't intentional, but like I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
I feel like Team Cup has been really good for getting my coaches inspired and kind of back in the game. I don't have a whole lot that are really interested in working right now, but those that are have been really taking to the energy in the two different teams that Jeff and I are part of. And I've also taken to sending out, things in the mail like 2 or 3 times a year, or maybe even more, to my coaches, whether they're discount or otherwise. Like last month when Cafe Latte came out, I sent all my coaches a sample and a letter telling them how much I appreciate them and, what a inspiration they are to me, and if there was anything personal I could add to their letter about their journey and what I've been doing with them. And I think that makes them excited too, and it also made a lot of them change their orders to Cafe Latte and kept them active.
Perfect. That's smart. I love that. Now, did you guys know that they evidently they have the 4th vital behavior is recognition? I think that's what Teresa's talking about. I mean, that is recognition. That's like, hey, someone sees me. Someone sees that I'm doing something. That means so much to somebody. And it may not even cost you any money, but there's something so powerful about that little handwritten message or that little sample of Shakeology. It makes so much difference. So that's a great ideas.
The samples of Hydrate and Energize being out now have been really good too. I've been sending those out like crazy as, referral prizes or to my coaches or for whatever.
Yeah, that's a great tool. I was really excited about that too.
I'm hoping they'll have more samples of the other parts of the supplement line. I love that Recover Shake. I'd like to be able to share that with people.
It's so good. Once you taste that, you're like, I need this stuff. It's so good.
That's like my main reason for pushing myself hard in a workout. I will do a workout that's extra hard that I didn't want to do just so I can drink that shake.
I never heard it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, this is, it says I have less than a minute. But does anybody have anything else they want to chime in really quick and share that's working for them? Nope. All right. All right, guys. So we'll be back on, I think it's the first Thursday of March. What is that? March 3rd. And I believe Katie Auerhahn will be leading the call. And I think she's going to do a 1 o'clock because of her preschool schedule. So please, if you have topics that you want discussed, I'm sure she would, love to, prepare something for you for the call. So, please share that in the group and we can pull some resources together. Thanks for being here. Have an awesome Thursday, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.